Now, before you go to the comment section to scream at me, listen to the entire video first. I am going to give a balanced discussion on Hypixel Skyblock's current state. It's not all negative doom and gloom. I'm still playing the game, and for a good reason outside of YouTube too, just to put that into perspective. However, this video would be the first part of this entire video and would be about only the positives of Skyblock, and the next video uploaded a few days from now will be on the flaws of Skyblock and what should be done about it. So, this is Furball the Hammy, your friendly neighborhood hamster, back again for another discussion video on Hypixel Skyblock. And today's topic will be nonetheless on the topic of Skyblock's current state and what should be done. However, this video will be covering the positive aspects of Skyblock only, with the upcoming video talking about its flaws coming a few days later, and this video will also be taking into account of the pets update, which was a good update in my opinion, but has its flaws. And if you want to check my perspective on it, I made a video on it, link in the description. So with that, time is money and I shan't waste your time. Let's get on to the things Skyblock has done right and should continue working on. Firstly, let's talk about what Skyblock has done right so far. Firstly, they did well for the good difficulty curve. With the addition of the park revamp and update adding in 2 new weapons known as the Raider's Axe and the Tactician's Sword along with a wood singularity to pair with it, it made the mid to late game bridging gap a lot more manageable, where there is now 2 weapons between the aspect of the end and an aspect of the dragons, which are good stepping stones to help even out the difficulty spike from mid to late game. That was a great addition, and the additional quests added to the park made it so that there are additional content to work on besides on just coins and gear. Let's also not forget about the changes to the End Island, where the top floor Enderman with 4500 health now have the highest chances of dropping Ender Armor, when back then they couldn't even drop Ender Armor in the first place. Although this came way too late when Ender Armor prices are already abysmal, if this came out earlier it could have been perfect. However, putting aside its flaws, it does make new players find it easier to grind Ender Armor to proceed to fighting mobs in the end to enter mid game or late game, which in a way serves as an easier way to grind to enter mid game without the use of the auction house, which is great as Hypixel is slowly shifting reliance on the auction house, especially for early and mid game players. And now, moving on to my second point. Hypixel Skyblock is controlling the economy and controlling it very well, or relatively well in my opinion. This is a lot more subtle than the first point, but I love how Hypixel Skyblock stopped operating Skyblock as an absolutely free anarchy market and started putting in subtle changes to control and to hold back the economy to make the game a lot more enjoyable and rewarding. Where is this seen in, you may ask? This is seen very clearly in the Slayer's revamp, during the update where Hypixel added base prices for toxic arrow poisons, hamster whales, and foul flesh, which were all garbage and hated 20% rare drops, because they were basically worthless with the exception of hamster whales back then. However, when Hypixel stepped in and added base sell merchant prices, it managed to impose a price floor for these 20% drop items to protect avid Slayer grinders to get their reward for grinding and getting lucky with these 20% drop items, which essentially made them worth something on the auction house or at least to the NPC merchants. A more subtle example of this change would be seen in the nerf for the drop rates for aspect of the dragons, the brother of the pigman sword we all know and love today. We can see what Hypixel has been trying to shadily toy with the drop rate of this late game sword. In fact, Hypixel has unofficially nerfed the aspect of the dragon drop rates from dragons not 1, not 2, but 3 full times. The first time it got nerfed was shortly after the release of the end. The second time it was nerfed was after the huge balance change where the pigman sword got buffed slightly with plus 10% crit damage. And the last time when it got nerfed was the most recently during the release of the pets update, where they added the dragon pet drop 2, they also nerfed the aspect of the dragon drop chance. This shows that Hypixel is trying to pull the strings of the auction house and the economy, and is trying to be involved in managing a healthy economy where pigment swords aren't entirely useless because they are slightly worse or equally as good as other late game swords, but yet cost almost 20 to 30% more than an aspect of the dragons. So yeah, if you are wondering why it's been tougher to profit from dragons in the status quo, here's the reason why as well, because Hypixel nerfed the aspect of the dragons drop 3 full times. There are also many examples, although a lot smaller strings Hypixels tried to pull to protect us grinders to not be shortchanged for our hard work and grinding sessions based on the whims and fancies of the auction house, such as adding a base NPC sell price to Ender Armor, nerfing Tactician's Sword to give the Pigman Sword more value for being a lot more expensive, and last but not least, by adding an NPC sell price for the Fly Swatter, which can be sold for 500,000 coins, and this was actually added just recently during the pets update, probably to protect Slayer grinders for their hard work and to give them at least some reward instead of something absolutely worthless for a 0.45% drop. Yeah, so I think Hypixel actually did quite a good job at balancing the economy. And moving on to the third point of the day, which I think Hypixel did well, known as reducing the importance of money and reliance on the auction house. This is also a more subtle change, but I like how Skyblock is going in the right direction. Before Slayers and even before Dragons, you could practically buy anything from the auction house with coins. It was basically like a supermarket. But why is this bad, you may ask? Because this creates an overfixation of the coins in the game, which is seen from the massive amounts of videos created on money-making methods and how many posts we get on the forums regarding the topic on how to make more money and whatnot. The overfixation of coins in the game is a problem as it overshadows the importance of other aspects of Skyblock, such as skills, minion slots, slayers, and side quests. This in turn results in more players trying to make even more money, which when more money is printed into the economy, the faster inflation occurs, which is good for a small extent, but when hyperinflation occurs, it's bad because the money you store in your bank basically grows more and more useless daily, and it also erodes the actual value of wealth you have, which no one enjoys obviously, especially at high inflation levels. However, with Skyblock updates starting from the fishing update, which added sea creatures and new fishing rods, such as the Rod of Champions and the Rod of Legends, which requires a minimum fishing level to even use, this shows that Hypixel is trying to shift the importance on money and the auction house, as this fishing update clearly presents the idea that money can't buy you anything or everything. You still need other aspects such as your fishing skill in support with your cash to make your cash actually useful. If not, you may end up buying a Rod of Legends, however you are unable to use it. Another example will be in the Slayers update, where all Slayer items have a minimum Slayer level requirement, meaning that if you are Zombie Slayer level 2, you wouldn't be able to use a Reaper Scythe if you had one because it requires Zombie Slayer level 7 or higher to use. Or even if you owned 10 other Reaper Scythes for whatever good reason or bad reason, you will still be unable to use the Reaper Scythe if you are not Zombie Slayer level 7, which emphasizes my point that Skyblock is shifting towards eroding the importance of cash and the auction house, as money alone can buy you items, that's for sure, but these items would be worthless to you as they require both money and skills to use. And let's not forget about the pets update, which was great at pushing players to grind other skills to level up their pets as efficiently as possible, as money alone cannot level up your pet. This is great for Skyblock and the developers are definitely doing something right. I would also like to mention another important aspect that Skyblock has done right. Okay, not exactly right, but they are getting there, and that is game balance. All of the game balances made currently are generally great and are in the right direction. However, game balance is still far from even perfection. Yes, looking at you, the mosquito bow, you are still a piece of garbage despite costing so much. But besides a few quirks and misses from balancing, I think over time, in the long run, the developers would perfect the balance in the near future. Maybe not perfect, but at least improve it than it currently is right now, which is borderline a joke. But hey, at least they are working on it, and I would like to comment on the improvements that they have made over the past 6 to 7 months. And with that, I have said all I wanted to say about the current state of Skyblock and its positiveness and what it actually did right. The second video following up on this video will be covering the problems Skyblock has and what should be done to improve or fix it. It would be coming out in approximately 3 days from now, so be sure to check out my Discord server to get notified whenever I come up with a new video and even get personalized advice for your Skyblock progression. From me, Furball the Hammy, and with that, I've said my piece. This is Furball the Hammy, the hamster who loves explosions and uses the explosion bowl, signing out.